Hello students, welcome back to this lockdown class once again. You must remember that we started a short story. The name of the story is Princess September, written by the famous British playwright William Somerset Maugham. And we just finished the Unit 1 in our last class. Today we'll read Unit 2, the next part. But before doing that, I have an interesting announcement for you. What is that? From today, from now on, after the completion of each of my classes, I will ask you one question. I will ask the question from the part that will be read on that class. I will ask you one very simple question, and you have to write the correct answer in the comment section just below the video. And in my next class, in my next video, I will announce the names of those students who will be able to give the correct answer of the question. You got it? So, today we are proceeding towards Unit 2. But before that, we must look back what we learned from our previous class in Unit 1. We learned from Unit 1 that Princess September was the daughter of King of Siam. And one day she was very sad. And being sad, she was weeping in her own room. At that moment, a little bird hopped into her room. And after entering the room, the bird began to sing a very beautiful song. And at once, immediately, when she listened to the song, immediately all the sorrow, all the sadness of the princess were gone. They all were removed. Princess became very happy, and she allowed the bird to stay with her in her own room. And Princess September showed the bird to the other sisters living in the same palace. But the sisters did not, they could not be so glad as Princess September was, and they became very jealous seeing the bird, such a beautiful bird in possession of September. They became very jealous, and out of their jealousy, they sowed the seed of suspicion in the mind of Princess September. They suggested September to keep the bird inside a cage for security, for safety. And at that moment, the bird was not in the room. The bird went to visit his own house. And Princess September was alone in the room, and she was very anxious about the bird. And she became very doubtful whether the bird would come back again or not. And she was spending the moments very anxiously. And at that moment, what happened? Now, come to Unit 2. So, September was very anxiously waiting for the bird to come back. Suddenly, September heard a tweet-tweet just behind her ear. The bird had come in quietly. Tweet-tweet. The short note, the calling of a bird, the short note of a bird, tweet-tweet. She heard a tweet-tweet, the sound of the bird, calling of the bird. She understood that the bird has come back. The bird had come in quietly. September felt her heart go thump-thump against her chest, and she made up her mind to take no more risks. Seeing the bird, September was relieved from all the anxiety, and at that moment she could feel the beat of her own heart against her chest. She was so anxious, so scared. And at that moment, she took the decision that she would not keep the bird free any longer. She put up her hand and took hold of the bird. She took hold of the bird, she caught the bird. The bird was quite used to this, so he suspected nothing. You know, the bird was quite accustomed to such behavior of Princess September. So the bird did not feel any doubt about it. He was surprised when she carried him to the cage, put him in, and shut the door on him. He hopped up on the ivory perch and said, "What is wrong?" So long, when she held the bird in her hand, the bird was not suspicious. And the bird was not suspecting anything. The bird was quite accustomed to such behavior of the princess. But when princess kept the bird inside the cage and shut the door, then he was surprised. The bird was surprised. "What is wrong?" he asked. September said, "Some of Mama's cats are prowling about tonight, and I think you are much safer out here." Mama's cat was prowling. What is the meaning of prowling? Prowling is to move about silently or quietly in search of any prey or with the intention to hunt. So Mama's cat was prowling about tonight, and I think you are much safer out here. So I kept you inside the cage for your safety. That was the argument that Princess September showed to the bird. "Well, just for this once I don't mind," said the little bird, "so long as you let me out in the morning." So the bird said that if that is the only reason, and if it is going to happen just for once, then it's okay until you take me out of the cage in the next morning. The bird believed that Princess September will take the bird out in the morning. Just for the safety at that night, the bird was kept inside the cage. The bird believed that. So what did the bird do then? He ate a very good supper and began to sing. But in the middle of his song, he stopped. As usual, previously the bird did the same thing at night after taking the supper. He sang a sweet song to make the princess sleep. That night also, the bird was doing the same thing. Inside the cage, he started singing. But in the middle of his song, the bird stopped. I don't know what the matter with me is," he said, "but I don't feel like singing tonight." The bird could not understand the reason. He felt that he was not feeling any interest to sing a song that night, and he could not understand the reason of that. "Very well," said September, "go to sleep instead." Then Princess September suggested him to go to sleep instead of singing. "If you don't like, then don't sing, just go to sleep." So he put his head under his wing, preparing to sleep, and in a minute was fast asleep. September went to sleep too. So they both went to sleep that night. But when the dawn broke, she was awakened by the little bird calling her at the top of his voice. "Wake up, wake up," he said. In the early morning, the Princess September got up. Her sleep was broken with the calling of the bird, restless calling of the bird. And the bird was calling at the top of his voice. "Wake up," he said. "Open the door of the cage and let me out. I want to have a good fly while the dew is still wet on the ground." Inside the cage, the bird was feeling so much restless. He was breathless. He was restless to come out of the cage. And his deep longing was to fly freely in the sky to see the wet ground with the dewdrops. "You are much better off where you are," said September. "You have a beautiful golden cage." Now Princess September again trying to convince the bird that he got a very safe and secured and good life inside the cage, because now the bird got a very beautiful cage, a beautiful home, golden cage. So in this way, September was arguing. You are much better off where you are. You have got a very good life inside the cage. You got a golden cage. Let me out, said the little bird. The little bird was insisting on the same thing. Let me out, make me free. Again, September arguing, and actually she is giving some enticements to the bird to keep inside the cage. You will have 3 meals a day. You will have nothing to worry you from morning till night, and you can sing to your heart's content. So this time Princess September was ensuring that the bird will be given 3 meals a day, and he would get a very secured life inside the cage, and he can also sing a song whenever he will like from being inside the cage. The little bird tried to slip through the bars of the cage, but he couldn't. He tried to come out of the cage, but he couldn't. He beat against the door, but of course he couldn't open it. Now the bird was trying to open the gate of the cage, but he failed. He began to cry again, let me out, let me out. I've only put you in the cage because I am so fond of you, said Princess September. Again and again, Princess September is trying to convince the bird that she was trying to justify her action of keeping the bird inside the cage. Now, the Princess September says that I have only put you in the cage because I am so fond of you. I have put you in the cage because I like you, and I am so much concerned about your safety, your security. That's why I kept you inside the cage. This was the argument of September. But the little bird stood in the corner of his cage, looking out at the blue sky, and never sang a note. He was indifferent. He did not take any interest whatever was around there. His mind was flying freely in the sky, but he was so morbid in the corner of the cage. She was standing there. But the little bird stood in the corner of his cage, looking out at the blue sky, and never sang a note. Why don't you sing and forget your troubles, said September. September could not understand why the bird was behaving in this way. And he was arguing, and he was requesting the bird to sing. How can I sing? Answered the bird. I want to see the trees and the lake and the green rice growing in the fields. The bird actually wanted to go and fly freely in the lap of nature to enjoy the beauty of nature. And the bird could not do all these things, he could not sing anymore. Then Princess September says, if that is all you want, I will take you for a walk, said September. Now September promised to the bird that if that was the only thing the bird was longing for, then she will take the bird in the lap of nature, but putting the bird inside a cage. And now the questions arise whether Princess September kept her promise, and again whether it could satisfy the bird. To know the answers of these questions, you have to read Unit 3. So here Unit 2 ends, and as usual, now it is time to give you some homeworks. You know very well you have to do 4 things. Previously I also told you. Number 1, reading the previous units. Number 2, activities 4 and 5. Number 3, all the exercises from other books based on the same part of the text. And number 4, reading the next unit or the final unit, the last unit. Now comes the question that I told you. আমি তোমাদের ভিডিওর শুরুতেই বলেছিলাম যে আজকে থেকে আমার প্রত্যেকটা ক্লাসে একটা করে আমি কোশ্চেন রাখবো তোমাদের জন্য। তোমাদেরকে সেই কোশ্চেনের কারেক্ট অ্যান্সার দিতে হবে এই ভিডিওটার নিচে কমেন্ট সেকশনে। যারা সঠিক উত্তর দিতে পারবে আমার পরের ক্লাসে তাদের নাম ঘোষণা করব। ওর হ্যাঁ, ইউ মাস্ট মেনশন ইউর নেম অ্যান্ড সেকশন along with your answer. ওকে, তোমার নাম এবং তোমার সেকশন উল্লেখ করবে তোমার উত্তরের সাথে। সো get ready to have the question of this class. Today's question is, what was the thing that Princess September failed to understand? I repeat, what was the thing that Princess September failed to understand? So this is the question. You have to write in a single sentence. You have to write the answer in a single sentence in the comment section below this video. Okay? Bye.